Well, this might shock you to hear, but the mainstream media, again, has been caught lying. And in fact, there is a pretty big link between what happened to Charlie Kirk in Utah and what happened at the Dallas ICE facility just 2 days ago. Now, of course, the media is too busy running countless articles about how the individual that did what he did in Dallas was simply apolitical. He was just a regular dude. And his high school buddies from 15 years ago were saying he didn't care much about politics. Well, all of that has been disproven, including the fact that he was obsessed with the video of what happened to Charlie Kirk, and it very clearly inspired him to do what he did. Now, when are we gonna get some results? Yeah, it's cool we have a Charlie Kirk commemorative coin coming out or whatever, but it'd be better if, like, my friends and family didn't have to fear for their life. I mean, I had an article, or I covered a story this morning where a 17-year-old was wearing a MAGA hat, was kidnapped by a van full of 4 Hispanics, allegedly. Also shot. It'd be nice to not live in this type of society. All the commemorative coins you want, we can have, but we need to talk about this. So, first of all, I'm hoping we can have a really big finish to the week. We added about 50 members to our community this week, which is great. And we have a private chat room where you can talk directly to me and other people on my show, like Hannah Claire and Melanie Mack. There's a costume contest. There's a pumpkin carving contest. There's self-defense conversations, church conversations, a new moms group, a new dads group, book club, everything, a whole community at thequartering.com/join. And I really, really hope you'll join, because the more people we get in there, the more amazing things that we can do. Now, the link will be in the description. Family says that the Dallas ICE shooter was simply not a radical leftist. Now, coincidentally, his mother had terminal Trump derangement syndrome. His mother was posting on social media constantly about Donald Trump. This individual, again, not a lefty. They ran this article yesterday at 8 p.m. Yesterday at 8 p.m. Okay. Here's another article. The suspect, Joshua Yan, wasn't really into politics. According to who? Oh, his ex-friends from 15 years ago. The left will do, what is their Darvo thing? Deny, I forget what it is. Like, basically blame the other guy, deny it, and that's how they continue to gaslight, and these idiots just keep getting to take our life. Now, here is the real information. FBI Dallas and FBI HQ have been working 24/7 to seize devices, exploit data, and process writings obtained on location and in the subject's person, residence / bedroom. The FBI is committed to providing timely updates as promised. Now, I will say, Cash is handling this situation much better than he handled the Charlie Kirk one so far. First of all, again, remember, according to mainstream media, according to the left, this guy was not a lefty, right? He was a mega Republican, or whatever they like to say all the time, right? 1, the perp downloaded a document titled, quote, Dallas County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, containing a list of all the DHS facilities. 2, he conducted multiple searches on the ballistics of the Charlie Kirk shot video between 9/23 and 9/24. So he was looking at this video the day before he did it. He had watched the video repeatedly over 2 days. Between 8/19 and 8/24, he searched apps that tracked the presence of ICE agents. So this was not a spur of the moment thing. This is not a, well, just another mental health crisis thing. This is a far leftist who took weeks to plan it and was very clearly inspired by what happened to Charlie Kirk. This is undeniable. Also, he had a handwritten note that read, hopefully, this will give ICE agents real terror to think, is there a sniper with AP rounds out on the roof? Further accumulated evidence to this point indicates, quote, a high degree of pre-attack planning. the FBI will provide more information. Again, Cash, you need to subpoena Reddit for information. Redditors have been distributing the locations of ICE agents and facilities for months. This is from back in February, where they show security, entrance gate, how to do all this stuff. Then if we go to Blue Sky, on Blue Sky, Antifa and leftists are discussing how to spread the lie that the suspect was a far-right radical who was instructed to do the shooting to frame the left. Leftists on social media are saying the anti-ICE messages on the rifle cartridges found next to the loser who did it is a far-right false flag to frame the left. Chad Loader, who is a huge loser, an Antifa leader in LA, is one of the accounts spreading this unsupported claim. He was, of course, permanently suspended on X for urging attacks on people. Before he was banned, he called for his comrades to make archives of their accounts when Elon Musk suggested he was going to nuke child lover accounts. First of all, I would argue that what is going on Blue Sky, is far worse than anything that ever happened on Parler. And that was enough for Amazon, Google, and Apple to ban the app. I would argue that Blue Sky should be banned until such a point in which they, do even the slightest moderation, until they do maybe the absolute bare minimum in, maybe passing some of these accounts on to law enforcement when they're making very specific threats. Now, of course, not all conservative media is doing well here. Of course, this guy spent 17,500 hours playing violent video games, including right before the incident. Now, again, he played Rust, Left 4 Dead 2. He's still playing Left 4 Dead? That's crazy. That's an old game, isn't it? Or is 2 the sequel and that's newer? I don't know. And Team Fortress 2. People still play Team Fortress? I didn't know these games really had much of an audience. Okay. No, of course. Now they're trying to play video games. I had over 700 hours on Rome Total War, but I haven't even taken a single step to restoring Rome to its former glory. These video games things. So did he eat dinner too? Yeah, he ate dinner every day and he drank water every day too. Everybody wants to talk, including the New York Post, who is apparently complicit in this. Everybody wants to talk about everybody else, everything else imaginable leading to this, and not the actual truth. And it is far left radicals. Now, did he play video games? Yes, but guess what the real story is here? The real story of the connection to video games, okay? He was probably radicalized by his fellow friends in the video game world, because we definitely see a lot of scenarios where, most of these video games are made by far left lunatics. Their community managers are far left lunatics. You go to a lot of these video game forums, they're far left lunatics. Video game obsessed Joshua Yan played nearly 20,000 hours in online gaming. Okay, so what? Since the account was free, he also spent his entire life breathing air. Like, how many times do we have to teach you this, old man? By the way, shame on the New York Post. Shame on the New York Post for daring to obfuscate the truth of this. This is why I'm so angry at people who are spreading these insane conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk's assassination. I think a good conspiracy theory is very entertaining, and I think sometimes they end up being right. My problem with people like Candace Owens and Ian Carroll, who are, tacitly saying, well, it was this, that, or the other thing, is it is now divided normal people, and you have huge swaths of the internet that believe Candace Owens literally said yesterday, or insinuated yesterday, that TPUSA, I saw a tweet that said this, I guess I have to see the video to confirm it, that she was blaming TPUSA for assassination. And then it was Israel, and then it was an exploding microphone, and it was energy waves, and all this crazy stuff. It's all fine and entertaining. It's not like I want to ban or anything, but I'm frustrated that people are talking about that instead of what is very obviously happening here. And it is a full-scale militant attack of the far left, not just people on the right, but anybody who disagrees with them. I mean, we had someone kidnapped yesterday. We had the ICE facility attack. We had the Fox News van bombing. We had all this stuff. This is like in the last 2 weeks, okay? And then we have these idiots that show up at TPUSA events and say, well, the right wing commits 70% of this. It's like they don't make stuff up. And the fact that the New York Post is reporting how many hours he played video games is pathetic. They shouldn't even have written this article. I get that they want to get clicks from maybe people who are very old and still falsely believe that video games make people do things that they wouldn't otherwise normally do. I mean, 17,000 hours playing FPS games. Get good, son. I've been playing games like Quake, Doom, Duke Nukem, Quake 2, Unreal Tournament Edition, Call of Duties. I've been playing them my whole life. I probably have 50,000 or 100,000 hours into these things. I don't know. But I've never felt like I needed to sit on a roof and take innocent lives. And the idea that, we're going to try to make this about video games is not only a horrible, disrespectful thing to do to the men and women of law enforcement whose lives are in danger, the men and women who are conservative whose lives are in danger, and anyone else around them, by the way, who may be in the wrong place at the wrong time. We're beating a dead horse about video games, which there's been zero articles or reports that have ever connected people's actions inside of video games to real life. Let's stop with this. Let's focus on how the mainstream media continues. Newsweek, Daily Beast, they continue to cover for this guy because the real issue is that we are under attack by the far left. And anybody that takes you off that target is not interested in keeping you safe. I hope you're informed by this video. I hope you're educated by it. I hope that if you made it to the end, you go right to thequartering.com/join after this and you get in that Discord, talk directly to me so you can give tips to me. You can, get the news first before even we make the videos, and we'll talk to you again real soon.